Hello everyone and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically. Today, I'm very excited and a little nervous, honestly, because we are going to compile and flash UEFI into our device, hopefully. So I'm going to introduce you guys to Protectli VP2430, a compact, fanless mini PC that's built for serious network duty. I think the best part of it is the fact that it is using Coreboot. It's an open source UEFI, basically a project, right? A lot of contributors. But what Protectli is doing is actually they are taking the time, making the mini PC, making a Coreboot for their devices. And trust me, it's not easy. I didn't really spend a lot of time. I got a little bit into it. I wanted to do like one of those Chinese mini computers that I tried to do for it. It was a bigger project than I anticipated. Let's just say that, okay? So that being said, honestly, this one is basically Protectli sent this device to me. Basically, they saw my previous video. In that video, I'm saying like, you know, this is true cost of security. When you want a Coreboot and you want some company to make Coreboot to work on their devices, you have to pay the premium because they are paying a lot of money to their developers and spending a lot of time and a lot of R&D to get it to work. So the guys reached out to me and said, yes, but we also have cheaper options. You went out and bought one of the expensive ones. So I actually bought the previous one. So this one, they sent it to me. So on that note, this is what I got. We are going to open this up, take a look at it together. So this is the invoice. So basically I got the VP2430 for $0. They sent it to me. This is the spec which we are going to walk through it. Before that, let me see what is in the box. Oh, no. Okay, so this is for the mug. These are their swag, basically. Opener and their pen. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Protectli team. And I've been in touch with Johannes from the Protectli team. So thank you for sending this over. Oh, I see something else. That's very nice. One of their Yeti mugs. Let's see, traveler mugs or whatever they call it, these things. Thank you, Johannes and the Protectli team for sending these over. So let's take this out as well. Okay, that's it. By the way, first impression, it's heavy. Maybe the power supply and everything is in there, that's why. Okay, so what we got, let's take a look at it. We got two Protectli pens. We got the mug. We got the mug sleeve, bottle opener, and yeah, the main thing. Okay, the big deal. So here, what we have is basically an Intel N150 quad-core CPU. We have seen multiple N150 devices in this channel, right? All of them are in the same price range with a big difference on this one. Very big difference. So first of all, the biggest one is that it comes with Coreboot. That's a lot of R&D and time spent on making that happen. Second, it comes with 4 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. So you will be able to easily turn this into a pfSense box. You can turn this into a Proxmox that runs pfSense as a guest VM, or you can run just a Proxmox hypervisor, NAS stuff. You can run Windows if you want to, whatever you like, you can run on this. And in terms of storage, you get an M.2 2280 NVMe SSD storage. Basically, you can go like 4 terabyte, I guess, up to that. I don't think there's bigger. I think they sent a 64 gigabyte version, so you can put SODIMM memories in this, DDR5, and I believe they sent a 4800 version to me. So let's open it. I will talk through those. Let me take this out. Oh wow, it's heavy. Okay, that's a quick start guide for this. I don't think I need it, but first impression, again, very heavy. And that is because this is a fanless computer and absolutely silent, because basically heatsink for the N150 processor that's in there. And as you can see, in terms of I/O, there is a SIM card. Yes, so there is an M.2 E key slot inside there, which you can use it for Wi-Fi 6E, and there is M.2 B key slot in there, which you can use it for 4G and 5G LTE with the nano SIM that goes right over here. Okay, and these are the slots for the antennas based on what you want. As I said, this is totally fanless, silent, and the size, I believe this is 144 144 by 143 by 55. So the height is 55 and 143, 144. Just call it 144, 144. Four 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connections. There's more antenna slots, so you can put a lot of antennas. So two over here, and two in front. So if you want to turn it into a beast of a Wi-Fi 4G LTE, what a Wi-Fi connection, a lot of stuff, you can do it right over here. There's the power button. Oh, there's two more over here for antennas. And these are USB 3.2 Gen 2, okay? And you can use it, yes, you can use it for DisplayPort as well, okay? So it's like a fully capable USB-C ports. This one is not. This one is a COM port. This is like console output. So if you install pfSense and you want the console output, let's say you can plug one of those devices that sends the console output through like a Ethernet or through whatever, you can use that in there. A reset button over there, HDMI over there, DisplayPort over there. These are 4 USB 2 ports. So these are USB 2. And in terms of power, it says right there, DC 12 volts. So you put a 12 volt in there. And again, it's heavy. Let's see what else is in the box. Oh wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, so we get a very nice high quality USB to USB-C. Oh, these are thermal pads. That's very thick and nice. Yeah, here's the power brick. Let's take a look at it. That's very nice because I have a lot of these cables, multi-purpose. And in terms of I/O, I believe it should output 12. Yep, 12 volt, 5 amp max, so 60 watt max. And I don't think you will even need that, but yeah, it's there. And there is the SATA power connector like this. This is for the powering SATA disks from inside the case. And this is also SATA connection, but angled. So yeah, you can use this. This is the stand and screws and stuff, as well as the VESA mount. So you gotta have a pretty good installation if you want to do this. So we got a lot of stuff over here. In this channel, as I said, in some of the videos, some of the vendors told me, oh, we didn't know you were gonna open it up, you know, you're showing everything in and out. Well, that's how we do business over here. So I am going to open this up and we are going to take a look at it. All right, let's do it. So now we know why they sent, oh my goodness, look at that. This is half the weight. Let me see. Yes, this is all the weight. That's aluminum or aluminium, whatever you want to call it. I think aluminium is the right word, but whatever. So here is the aluminum, whatever, and this is the heatsink. These all thermal pads go over here. They already put two, which if we line it up, this one is for RAM and this one is for the NVMe SSD. They were nice enough and sent me a 1 terabyte Kingston NVMe SSD, which I'm gonna probably replace just for the testing, and the M.2 slots that I was talking about. So as I said, you can put Wi-Fi card or you can put a 4G LTE card in here, and you have a lot of slots for routing the antenna out, antenna cables out, and you have a lot of slots for that. Now let's take a look at RAM. Okay, so as you can see, that's the slot for RAM, and they were nice enough to send me a crucial 64 gigabyte DDR5 5600. Sorry, I said initially 4800. They sent a 5600. So I am not going to upgrade it. Yeah, if you want to take a look at inside, you will see there is right there the colorful one, hopefully. Yeah, this is the power connection, HD, hard activity, reset, power button, all that stuff over there. So those are the good stuff. This is the SATA port that you can use, and this is the SATA power. So if you want, you can put this in there. You'll get a SATA power cable and another SATA cable just like this one, and you can stash, I guess, I mean, can you put it inside? But it's gonna be moving around. Am I being stupid here? Where can you put SSD in here mounted? Can you screw? No, you can't. I mean, again, you can put something around it and put it in there, but there is this, because this is going to be heavy and it's gonna put a lot of, actually there is space. Well, I don't know. I guess you can put some regular SSD in there, but if not, worst case, you can route the cable out and put it outside. But yeah, I think you can fit it somewhere here, but I don't know where. Anyway, if I figure it out, I will mention it. But anyway, so what else is in there? Well, let's take a look at it. These are the jumper stuff, SATAs. That's ESP. That's COM port 2. That's the power button stuff. That's not for fan because there's no fan. I don't see the BIOS chip. So if there is a BIOS, this could be the BIOS, but it doesn't say so. It just says U7. It could be the BIOS chip. It looks like a WinBond typical chip that used for BIOS. Yeah, I might be wrong. There are some jumpers over here as well. I think you can use of these as well. I remember reading on their website, they make it easy to flash BIOS and dump it externally as well as internally, which we are going to try. As I said, I will compile the Coreboot and I'm going to flash it from within the OS, from within the Ubuntu. Okay, there's also fan for CPU and case. There's two in case you want, but I believe this whole thing as a heatsink would be more than enough for N150. I think there's a buzzer also over here. Yeah, all that being said, what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna pull it all the way. I'm just gonna drop it like that. Maybe use it upside down, it's fine. I am going to put my own NVMe SSD, which will come with, I will have a Ubuntu disk, Proxmox. Yeah, we're gonna try a bunch, okay? Just give me a couple of minutes, I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. Don't mind the upside down. As Dave from UEFI blog says, electrons won't fall off. They will stay in place. And as you can see, I am booted into Ubuntu and we are idling at 7 watts. Yes, 7 watts. There is no fan, absolutely no noise whatsoever. So that being said, let's do a neo fetch. As you can see, Ubuntu 24 and VP2430 is right there, and Intel N150 is right there. In terms of performance and stuff, I guess let's do a couple of things. Okay, so let me get it from my history. We are going to execute the performance to all cores. Let's do stress ng. Also, let me start the sensors so we can see how it is doing. As you can see, the power consumption goes up to 22. That's impressive, honestly. 23, that's like max. I don't know. I put performance for all the cores, but yeah, it's 23 watts. And stress ng, I know it really stresses the CPU. So we are killing it, and 23 watts max, and those are the temperatures. I don't really think they're rising that much, and it's not even that hot, and it's upside down, so the heat is supposed to be dissipated from the other side, but it's doing fine. It's doing fine. Okay, as you can see, immediately it's dropped back to 30C on the thermal. So thermal wise, we are good. And as you can see, we are getting, oh my goodness, 114,000 BOGO ops in 30 seconds. And BOGO ops per second is 3,777. So very good for a computer this powerful, this small, this silent, and fanless. That's what we are getting. As you can see, immediately it goes back to 28C. So heatsink is doing great. That being said, I guess very quickly we can check the HD parm for the NVMe N1. Yep. Okay, so that's a very acceptable and respectable speed of megabytes per second, 1600. So whatever you put in there in NVMe SSD, you will get very good speeds in there. The other thing is iPerf 3. So let's do this. And we are getting 2.5 gigabits, and it is also doing perfectly fine. And this is connected to my new UEFI 48 port PoE+++ switch, which I did a video on it. If you haven't seen it, if you're interested, go check that out. So we are doing great here so far. Everything exactly as promised, and it's doing everything as expected. Let's do some LLM tests. Although arguably, I don't think this is really an LLM machine, with 4 2.5 gigabit ports right over there and 2 USB-Cs on the front, and this powerful machine that's fanless and silent. I don't really think you need to, you're gonna be running a lot of LLM ones, but you might want to. So let's start. And I have a 64 gigabyte DDR5 RAM, right? Actually, let me do a DMI decode 17. Yep, there you go. So the speed is, as you can see, 5600 MT per second. Let's do, based on that, what I have here, you know what? I am going to go with this. I think we will be able to handle it. Let's see. Let's try. Keep an eye on this. We are going to 20 watts. Let's see how it does. Okay, so it's loaded, and let's ask the same question I always ask in the other videos as well, just to keep it fair. Yeah, DeepSeek R132B, that's what we are running, which is 19 gigabyte, just the model. Well, it started. Okay, that's very slow. Maybe not that model. It does have a very powerful RAM, but yeah, this is not going to work. Okay, so this is a bit too much. As you can see, this is like a, I don't know, maybe 0.3 tokens a second or something like that. So let's try the 14B. Maybe this one is a little bit more fair. So this one is 9 gigabyte in size, if that matters, but it's 14 billion parameters. So let's see how this one is. Okay, so let's ask the same question. Okay, that's more like it. All right, so let's fast forward and let's see how it does. And keep an eye on the power consumption, which is like 20 watts. Let's just say 20 watts rounded up. And the temperatures, you see it on the screen, is 40 Celsius. So we are good. The case is very, very good at dissipating heat. As you can see, CPU is 100% and the tokens are going. So now let's fast forward and see how it does. Okay, there you have it. Took very, very long time, but results are there. So I'm just going to round it up and say 1 tokens per second, and that is for DeepSeek R1 14B version. Okay, and it went up to 20 watts, and temperatures never went above 56, although it's upside down. So we're good. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to compile Coreboot, and I'm going to do one extra step. So honestly, it is no brainer. There is this documentation, docs.dasheroo.com, unified Protectli and building manual. Okay, and based on the version that you have, which is 2430, which is the most recent, which is this one, I literally did nothing other than copy pasting these steps. Okay, so first it asks you to install a Docker, obviously, and even for Docker they have a lot of documentation, and then you clone this repo, and then you check out a specific branch, and then you check out sub modules, and you literally run this command. But I want to do one extra thing. Okay, so I want to open up that build.sh, right? I am going to check the code. I'm going to show you something. So VP2430, that's the one we are going to compile, right? And if we look at the code, the handler, it calls build Protectli vault. Okay, and if we search for that, this is the function, and there you go. So we have a logo file, which is in this folder, third-party Dasheroo blobs, and then Protectli and boot splash. So if we do an xdg open on that file, you are going to see that's Protectli logo, and that's what shows up initial boot screen. And if we do a file on it, you will see that it is a 1024 by 768 24-bit color bitmap file, BMP file. So I'm good at plagiarizing stuff. So what I'm going to do is I actually prepared this. If I go to desktop, you will see, there you go, that's my logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically plagiarize and put this in there just for fun. Okay, first I'm going to back it up. So I am going to cp that to my root folder, and then I'm going to cp home unsure desktop, this one, over third-party Dasheroo blobs Protectli bootsplash.bmp. There you go. I overwrite that. Now I am going to execute the command that they said executed. There you go. I really didn't do anything special. I just copy pasted a bunch of commands. That's it. And the logo part is just something extra for fun. I'm doing it. You don't have to, obviously. You just compile it. I want to show you that you can do it this way, and you will have a resulting image is going to be this, as it says, Protectli VP2430 underline version.rom file. And that what you can flash that into this. So this is going to take a while. Yeah, let this finish, and then we continue from there. Okay, so as you saw in the fast forwarded footage, the compile is done. There you go. You have the compiled file right over there. And on the other window, you can see I just again followed the Protectli firmware updater. I got this binary blob and extracted it, and there's the command. So I'm doing nothing. I'm just copy pasting a bunch of commands. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to move this old file. Okay, I'm going to replace it with mine, the one I compiled. So I'm going to actually, I don't care, I will reclone it if I need to. So I'm going to rm the file. Hold on, where is it? In the images, all right? So rm images, this file, that's gone. Now I am going to copy this to images. I'm going to put that in there. That is the one I compiled, which comes with my technically unsure channel logo plagiarized. So what I'm going to do is you are just going to run flash BIOS. That's it. And it tells you you have to shut down after the flashing and disconnect the power cable as well. Wait 5 seconds and then reconnect the power cable and then turn it on. And it tells you, you have to acknowledge that this is a risky behavior. If you fail, something fails, you have to do those SOIC 8 thingy, a lot of other stuff. So, just be careful if you want to do this. So as you can see, I can flash original AMI based UEFI or the Protectli's provided Coreboot image, which I compile. I'm going to go with the option 2. Again, it is telling you, potentially dangerous. I like to live dangerously, so it's a yes. Okay, so it seems like there is a BIOS lock. So what we're going to do is actually, I also wanted to do this. I want to show you the BIOS before I potentially ruin it. So you see the Protectli logo is there. There you go. Okay, so we have the VP2430 and here is the Coreboot. This is the default. I know it's tiny on the screen. Hopefully in post I will be able to zoom out, so we'll see. But yeah, here you will have the user password management stuff. There's the device manager. This is device health. Not much in here. Enable secure boot is not enabled. Current secure boot state is disabled. Go back. This is dasheroo system security. Yeah, here is the lock the BIOS boot medium, enable SMM BIOS write protection. And then there is a USB device configuration and then the power management, serial port, one-time boot. Basically, this is the boot device override, okay? And boot device maintenance. This is the boot options, driver options, console options. Yeah, these are the things that you can add and tweak boot from file. So let's go back to main features, go to the lock the BIOS medium. I'm going to disable that. And that's kind of it. Let's F10 and save it. And now I am going to go one-time boot and go back to Ubuntu. Okay, as you can see, Protectli take back your network. Okay, so this is their logo and it comes up here. You will be able to see this is the BIOS and OS selection. Okay, not that one. So I have to do a boot override. I forgot to replace the boot device, so I guess I have to do this. Okay, let's boot into Ubuntu again and let's try to flash it again. Okay, now as you can see, we are writing the content of what I compiled, the plagiarized version with my channel logo in the UEFI. It's reading the old content, now it's erasing it. It's going to write that compiled UEFI file into our PC. And then I'm going to follow exactly what they said. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to remove and take out the power cable, wait 5 seconds, put it back, turn it on, and let's see if I screwed up something. It tells you again, remove the power supply from the device and reinsert it. Okay, so let's do shutdown. Okay, let's wait. I love to see my logo there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? I'm gonna give them 1 extra second. I'm gonna slowly put this back. Okay, power cable is in. Let's see how it does. So initially, because we already flashed the BIOS, it's going to do all the hardware checks from scratch, so it might take a little bit longer. The first time you're booting after flashing the BIOS, obviously it's just like replacing the RAM. It's going to take a while, so we have to wait. Hopefully I didn't screw something up, because then I have to go with the SOIC and flash it again myself. That's going to take some time. Let's see. Well, so far the light is on and power consumption goes up and down. I'm assuming it's making progress. It's scanning, checking everything. There's no issues so far, no hangs or freezes so far. Let's see. Oh, I heard a beep. Hot damn! There you go. That's my ugly logo from my channel. All right. Okay, I was so scared. I don't want to do that SOIC thing. I'm just happy that I didn't ruin anything. Even if it didn't work, I was fine with it. I just don't want to do it. So guys, don't do it. If you don't really have to do this thing, just don't do it. I trust them. Just use the one they compile and provide. Okay. So now I did it with my logo. I gotta log into Ubuntu. There you go. My ugly logo right there. Okay. So now we are booting into Ubuntu with UEFI that we just compiled in the Ubuntu. Beautiful. So everything is working fine. And as I told you, so if you really care about the security of UEFI, if you don't trust closed source UEFIs, if you think there is a backdoor in there, well, this is the device for you. You want to turn this into a firewall to protect your entire network? Absolutely. You've got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. Like my internet is gigabit. This is even overkill. So I have a very similar device in my network, which I think now I'm going to replace it with this. Well, what it does is basically I get the internet connection from my internet provider. I guess mine is Verizon, whatever you have. You put it in there, and then I have one one from here that goes to those switches that you have seen on my previous video, if you can check that out. And then the other two, I use it for some other, I have a NAS, I want to keep it totally separated and segmented, and I only give access to certain devices and so on. And I have another VLAN. So the main one, the LAN, goes up to the 48 port UEFI switch, and from there it connects to my Wi-Fi access points and all that stuff. So you can absolutely turn this into pfSense box and use it. And I'm gonna now show you pfSense is nothing. I'm gonna show you you can run a Proxmox and run pfSense as a guest machine. So what I'm gonna do is I am just going to shut this down. You know, I'm just happy I did not ruin the BIOS. And yeah, there you go, my logo is right there. Okay, so I got that. Now let's do Proxmox, okay? Oh boy, this is heavy. It sticks. It's just like I screwed it. It's just very hard to take it out. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so now I am going to do an override. So now let's boot into Proxmox, and I just have to do the device change for my Ethernet device. And yeah, that's it. All right, it was that easy. Now let's go to my computer. There you go. Okay, so we have this device, and you see the power consumption is like 8-9 watts. And I was telling you, right, you can install an Ubuntu full-blown desktop, which is totally unnecessary, or just a pfSense, doesn't matter. pfSense is so lightweight. You don't really need a lot of resources. People running it on much smaller SPCs. So this is way overkill for just a pfSense, but you can absolutely go for it and do that, and you will have a pfSense running on a very secure device. All right, so yeah, this was too much apparently. Let's do 2.2. Now let's try again. There you go. So here you go. You see that we are booting into an Ubuntu desktop, and it handles it. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And we have one single 64GB RAM, more than enough. Yeah, there you go. That was fast, right? There you have it. You will be able to basically run as many virtual machines as you want. This will handle it. And you can see it's kind of snappy, kind of fast. There you go. You see, and it's doing fine. So that's just one operating system. I guess we can lower the CPUs on this one as well to 2.2. Go back over here and start a Windows 11. Well, would you look at that? We booted into Windows 11 as well. You can absolutely run, you know, multiple VMs on this, and just one of them to be pfSense. And as you know, you can do a pass-through for Ethernet devices and just pass it completely if you want to the pfSense. Yeah, you can use maybe even USB ports, USB-C ports especially, to connect another extra 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. I even used those in a Raspberry Pi video. You might find it in my channel. So you can absolutely do a USB-C to 2.5 gigabit Ethernet as well, an additional adapter. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. And I know the original SSD that they shipped it with, it was with Windows 11. So what I'm going to do is actually I am going to shut this down, and you saw that, right? You saw this summary. As you can see, this is the situation. We're using 4 CPUs, 50% of the CPU RAM and all that stuff. This is the N150. It's handling it very well with no problem to Windows desktop and Ubuntu desktop. Okay, so I am going to shut this down. What I'm going to do now is putting back the original Kingston 1 terabyte SSD that they shipped it with, which I believe I saw it in the beginning in the UEFI. I believe it was a Windows 11. So if it is Windows 11, we boot. If not, I will put a Windows 11. Okay, as you saw in the fast forwarded footage, I just booted into Windows 11. There you go. It's booting into Windows 11 with my ugly channel logo. Also works. And you have the power consumption over there. I just wanted to show you that it just works with Coreboot and N150 CPU. And if I open up the CPU Z, okay, there you have it. Intel Core, I guess, Alder Lake N150, and mainboard is Protectli VP2430, PCI Express 3, and memory is, yep, 2400. Okay, so 2400 actually double is 4800, so it's not doing 56. It's 4800. That's what I saw on their website as well. So yeah, it's here it says 5600, 2800 over here. Well, maybe it's the XMP stuff, but anyway, that's what we are. As you can see in the Windows, but you know, it's probably doing a lot of stuff in the background in terms of like update and stuff. But Okay, it's actually not doing. All right, so hopefully it will simmer down for a second. Okay, there you go. 13 watts-ish, goes up and down. Anyway, so now I'm going to benchmark the CPU a little bit. Yeah, that's like a N150. I'm kind of used to that number, 1200-ish. That's the N150 CPU for you. And you can see it's going to 26 watts, 27 watts. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Basically, I compiled my own UEFI. I flashed into it. Windows 11 works, Ubuntu works, Proxmox works, everything works. So for those of you who want the extra step for their security and you are concerned about, potential, malicious stuff, remember, once you flash the BIOS, you have to go back and put the lock back. So no other software in Windows or Ubuntu will be able to override and, install another update on your UEFI. So lock it and you should be safe. Or just don't even open it. When they ship it to you, it comes with Coreboot. They're nice enough to install Coreboot for you. When you're checking out, you actually choose which BIOS you want, which UEFI you want. You want the AMI original or you want the Coreboot? So just don't play, just don't compile, just trust them and do this. If you want to compile, then you have to remove the lock, compile, flash, put the lock back. Just don't forget to put the lock back, unless you want to play around and keep flashing stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want to, actually, that's another use for this. If you want to play around Coreboot and make changes to some UEFI modules, you want to write your own UEFI module, you want to integrate it into Coreboot and test it out. There you have it, a perfect device, one example device. They have a lot of devices, Protectli. You can check out their website. And but I think this is a perfect device for running a firewall, a router, a switch, and you can define all your VLANs in this device, all your rules in this. pfSense, OpenSense, doesn't matter. You install it on here. You have 4 2.5 gigabit ports, and that's all you need for most task. If you have a 10 gigabit internet, yes, maybe not, this device is not for you. You have to choose a more expensive device. But if you don't have 10 gigabit internet, this is more than enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really did enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what you guys think down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.